Welcome to Cody in the Cinema. Today I'm going to discuss a bunch of really good movies that are about to leave the Criterion Channel, the streaming service that the Criterion Collection has, at the end of this month here in September. And this month is really kind of painful to look at everything that is being lost from the service. I wouldn't even be surprised if some people kind of canceled their subscription over this. So going over some of the really quality stuff here that's leaving. MASH, the great comedy by Robert Altman. Haven't seen that one in a long time. Maybe I'll give that one another try. My Cousin Vinny has been on there, if you weren't aware of that one. And if you have somehow missed this in your movie watching career, you gotta watch it yesterday. Okay, this is like what every lawyer in law school watches this. Joe Pesci in a comedy, Marissa Tomei in an Oscar-winning performance. And he defends his family member. It has the guy from the Munsters in it as the judge. This is a really, really funny, really good movie. And it kind of proves that Joe Pesci has a really good acting range. So if you haven't seen that, it's on there. It's an easy watch. LA Confidential is on there right now, and kind of a longer, really good film noir I've covered on the channel before. Some of you may be thinking about, at Christmas, what 4Ks you're going to get, or maybe 4Ks for the half off sale. If you want to give Days of Heaven a watch before it leaves, that is one of the prettiest films in the collection, and that is leaving soon. So you could preview that at least a little bit. A terrific film that probably the people that love that pristine 4K presentation, they may want to see on the channel before it gets gone. Midnight Cowboy is on the list of movies that's getting ready to leave. And I really like Midnight Cowboy. It was one of the movies early on that got me into older movies with Dustin Hoffman and Jon Voight. Real good movie from that time period that really exemplifies it, and some good movie history there. I think Paul Thomas Anderson has at least two that are leaving. Magnolia, which I haven't seen, and Licorice Pizza. I haven't seen either of those, but I thought I'd throw them out there because I have seen a number of really good Paul Thomas Anderson movies. The Master left recently, and of course, There Will Be Blood. I don't know if that was even on the channel at any point, but it's another great one of his. Something that I'm glad I watched before it got off of there that I wasn't even really aware of, Leave Her to Heaven, the Technicolor movie with Gene Tierney as a really almost stalkerish in love wife, and she could have won an Oscar maybe if she hadn't been up against Joan Crawford and Mildred Pierce. But great movie there if you haven't seen it. I know it's in the collection, and I intend to buy that in the next sale. That was a 5-star movie for me, absolutely terrific. And another movie that's just very easy to watch in terms of it's not difficult to watch, to sit down and pay attention to. It doesn't require... What I mean is it's very emotional, and you'll get invested. Okay. Bad Lieutenant. I did not love Bad Lieutenant, but some people do with Harvey Keitel. Had trouble finishing that one. I just had to kind of turn it off. It's a little too much for me, but I do really like his performance in that. And I love Harvey Keitel as an actor. So that's leaving soon if you're into that movie. Now, one movie I really wanted to talk about here, Night Moves with Gene Hackman. Night Moves. That movie really is a lot of fun, especially if you like Key West, because Gene Hackman is this detective whose marriage is falling apart because he's always on the job, and he ends up taking this detective job that leads him into Key West. And it really kind of, having been to Key West before and seeing Gene Hackman there just having a good old time, that made me want to revisit that area. And if you like that actor or you like that area, I think you're going to like that movie. Real smooth movie, just a real fun one to watch, and probably one I would get a copy of. So Night Moves, and this one will not be on the channel much longer apparently. Taxi Driver, and I love my Steelbook copy of it. I know that there are several different versions you can get, but I love this art with Travis Bickle and the Mohawk here. So if you have not seen Taxi Driver, this is a top Martin Scorsese movie, a movie about this severe, crippling loneliness and this series of mental health problems that Travis Bickle, this lonely taxi driver, veteran, scarred for life, is kind of living in a very troubled state of mind in this film. It features Harvey Keitel again, who I mentioned, Jodie Foster in a young role there. Really good movie that you definitely should see. Like, if you didn't see anything else on this list and you hadn't seen Taxi Driver, that would be where to start, because that movie is insanely good. And another movie that I thought I'd mention, Assault on Precinct 13, that has been the inspiration for a number of other films. And It Happened One Night, the Frank Capra screwball classic. I have said before, I'm not the biggest fan of screwball comedies in general, but I really do like this one. It's Clark Gable in the lead role with Claudette Colbert. Very good movie, very funny, has held up really well despite being 1934. One of my favorite movies from that year, and just has held up terrifically well. It's one of those, the rich girl has gotten away from her father and she's on a road trip with Clark Gable kind of thing. It's really good. Clark Gable? Yeah, Clark Gable. And Thelma and Louise is leaving as well. This is one of the really newer 4Ks in the collection that's still on the channel. It's a road trip with Gina Davis and Susan Sarandon. They are propelled to a much higher stakes road trip away from one of their husbands, and you'll see if you watch it. Very good Western shots in here. Super good looking 4K, but if you wanted to preview it, it's on the channel as well. And I love this movie. It's a little long, but I mean, it's really, really good. And also, some people have mixed feelings about this one apparently, but I love Blowout. It's about to leave the channel. John Travolta as he's a sound effects man for a very particular kind of movie. Maybe don't watch this one with your parents or whatever, unless they're really don't mind feeling awkward with you, because it's kind of more mature. But he meets this other woman, and they have a little romance going on. It has the guy from Dexter season 4. Can't think of his name. I will put it on the screen for you as a villain. And really stylish, good-looking Brian De Palma movie. And just absolutely love this one. John Lithgow. That guy. He's in a role you might expect from him. So, the ones that I thought of note, just to go back over these that are leaving: MASH, My Cousin Vinny, LA Confidential, Days of Heaven, Midnight Cowboy, Magnolia, Licorice Pizza, Leave Her to Heaven, Bad Lieutenant, Night Moves, Taxi Driver, Assault on Precinct 13, It Happened One Night, Thelma and Louise, Blowout. That is quite a list of movies. And there are some others that are pretty big names that are leaving too, that I just didn't mention because I didn't know quite as much about. And like I said, I've seen most of those, but they really caught my eye. So definitely might be worth it if you are keeping up with the Criterion Channel to check some of these out before they leave, because there's some real quality leaving this month. Do you like any of these movies that I've mentioned? Do you have anything you could say or share in a comment? If you do like this kind of video where I can sort of recap what's leaving, click the like button for me if you wouldn't mind, or leave a comment or something like that. Helps drive the algorithm in my favor. And we'll see you next time on Cody in the Cinema.